Good morning, students. Today we are going to start lesson number 2 in our English main course book, and the title of the lesson is Lost Spring. And Lost Spring is written by Annie Jung. Annie Jung is a lady author. She writes so many novels and so many stories. And this lesson, which we are going to read today, it is also part of a book. We can call it as an extract. Children, you very well know that what is an extract. Extract is a part of something, a very big story, just like a novel. A very big story, and from that some part is taken out. So here, this story, Lost Spring, it's a complete book. And from there, only some part is taken as your syllabus or a lesson. Here, Annie Jung, the lady author, is telling us something about Lost Spring. Now, why the title is given Lost Spring? It has a hidden meaning. As children, you all know that spring is the most beautiful season of the year. In the same way, spring is compared here as childhood. This lesson actually has two parts. Today we are going to study only one part. And in this part we will see what is the title of this part. Sometimes I find a ruby in garbage. So this is the first part of the lesson, Lost Spring. And as I told you earlier, that Lost Spring is making a connection with a small children, or we can call a small kids. So especially this lesson is based on a boy, and his name is Sahib A. Alam. So Sahib A. Alam is a very poor boy, and in what way he is losing the enjoyment, the time of childhood, that is described here by Annie Jung. Because childhood is a time when every child wants to play, wants to enjoy, runs here and there, wants to study. So many intentions are there. But some children are not able to take the advantage of it. Among them, Sahib is one of them. So let us see what is the story of Sahib and how Annie Jung is telling us about Sahib's life. So in the beginning of the lesson, if we see, we will find that Sahib Alam, he is not an Indian. Actually, he belongs to Bangladesh, Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. From there he comes. Actually, his native place is Dhaka in Bangladesh East. Once upon a time, his family was living in Dhaka, and they were having fields. They were doing agriculture. They were growing crops. But because of storm and so many problems, all crops are damaged, and so many things mishappening also took place there. And because of those old damages, what happened? All the things, the Sahib's family had to leave that place. And they have left, and they came to India. They came to India and they started living in Simapuri. Now, what is Simapuri? Simapuri is a slum area. It is nearby Delhi. We can call it in Delhi only. It is a part of Delhi. But there, only the poor people are living. The people, those who are very poor, who does not have anything, they cannot even have any job, identity, nothing. They are totally rag pickers. Now, what is rag pickers? Rag pickers, the people, those who are picking up the rags, kachra, and living their life. So here we will see about Sahib and his family, and how Annie Jung, the author, is looking at the family and looking at the boy and what are the desire the boy is having, this whole thing is going to be explained by the lesson, or in this lesson we will see. So here I have written some of the points, and very first if we see, we will find in what way Sahib and our author Anees Jung is meeting. So one day Anees Jung, she was just coming out of her house, and she notices, what she noticed? She notices that a boy, Sahib, he was Sahib, a boy, on his shoulder he was carrying a bag, a poly bag, in which he was picking up the rats. So he was coming, and the author could not hold on herself, and she went near to the boy, whose name was Sahib-e-Alam. Now, when she reached to him, she asked a question. Why do you do so? Means, why he does that job? Why he picks rats? Why is he doing that? Do you have any family? In that way, the author put two questions. Very first, why you do so, and do you have a family? And she also added that why don't you go to school? Then Sahib answered, I cannot go to school because I don't have money. Actually, I want to go, but it is not in my hand. And after some time, Anees Jung says, if I open a school, then will you come to take their admission? Will you study that? Then Sahib said, of course, I will come to your school if you open a school. So he was, in this way we can see that Sahib was interested to learn. He wanted to go to school, but because of some problems, maybe money, maybe family pressure, or maybe his needs, he was not able to go. Therefore, as the author asked him a question, would you like to come to the school if I open? Then he answered it positive, that I would like to come. So after some time again, the author and the boy, Sahib-e-Alam, both are meeting together. Both are meeting, and this time Sahib put a question to the author. Ma'am, did you start your school? And that time, you can imagine, because that was a fake promise made by the author to the poor boy. And the author is saying that this kind of promises, different types of promises the rich people are making with the boy. She was embarrassed by herself, that why did I ask him to come to my school if I open? Because she herself was knowing that she made a very big promise, and now she cannot fulfill that. Actually, she simply said those words that she would open a school and the boy whether interested to come or not. So thinking over her own words, she was finding herself miserable as well embarrassed. That why did I ask the boy to come to school? That was the embarrassing point from the author. So now, after some time when they were talking, suddenly the author, Anees Jung, asked Sahib his name. Before that she never asked the name of the boy. Now when she asked, then Sahib said, my name is Sahib. And she asked, what is complete name? Then he said, Sahib-e-Alam, and I came from Dhaka, which is where? In Bangladesh. Then she was keen to know the story of Sahib. And Sahib explained everything as I earlier told, that once they were living in Dhaka, in Bangladesh, after facing some problems, they had to come to Simapuri, which is the backyard place or slum area of Delhi. So in this way. Now when author came to know that he came from very good standard family, and because of some problem he has to face so many tragedies in his life, and therefore he is now alone and picking up rest and spending his time in that place which is slum Simapuri. Now author thought the name was what? Sahib-e-Alam. Sahib-e-Alam means the king of universe. The name meaning was the king of universe. And the author was knowing this thing, but Sahib was never knowing. And author thought in herself, what if he knows about himself? It is a kind of irony. It is a kind of metaphor. Why we call it irony or metaphor? Because it is just opposite what is here. Means what is opposite here? The name and the meaning. The name of the boy was Sahib-e-Alam, which means king of the universe. But here it is just opposite. And what is that? That this boy is very poor. Even he is not having complete clothes to cover his body. Even he is not having satisfactory food. So, therefore only it is said, it is a kind of irony, it is a metaphor. So, this thing who thought? Only the author. Now, author when she was thinking this whole thing, after that she went away from there. But she kept thinking about boy. And now what happened? Sahib again continued with his work. He was continuously going here and there. He was picking up the rack. He was going according to his life, whatever he had to do. And now when next time author is sitting in her house and she was writing a story, she was thinking about these boys. Because there was not only one boy, but many girls, many women, many men. So many were there. They all were picking up racks. Because everyone, those who were living in Simapuri, according to author is saying at that time in Simapuri near Delhi, around 10,000 or more people were rack pickers. They were living in Simapuri. So every day the author was noticing this thing, that these children, women, men, everyone, all are coming and picking up racks around Delhi or outskirts of Delhi. And she is writing in her book that in the morning they are visible. Means she is comparing the rack pickers as birds. And why she is comparing rack pickers as birds? Because all the birds we can find early in the morning in their nest on the tree or in the tree branches. But afternoon when we go, we will not find the birds because they all are here and there. They are in the search of their food. In the same way, these rack pickers are. Early in the morning they are visible because they are leaving their house. They are leaving their house. Where they are living, it is called their house. Actually, it is not a house. It is only tin shed. Or we can understand what is the condition of slum area. Only birds. So she is saying only in the morning these rack pickers are visible. In the afternoon they disappear. We cannot see them as like a bird. Therefore she compared those rack pickers as birds. So here this thing is shown here from the author. Now another day when she is meeting with those poor people, this time this author Anees Jung is along with her one of the friends. Now what happened? When Anees Jung was with her friend, suddenly she asked one of the boy who was picking up the rack, why you don't wear shoes or slippers? Then one of the boy among the rack pickers answered, It is not our fault that we are not hearing, but our mothers, they are not giving us slipper or shoes to wear. They send us only barefoot to go and pick up the rats. Means we are not given, therefore we do not wear. And the author's friend, she just added, it is not so. That is, their parents are not giving them the shoes or the slipper. But it is a kind of tradition. It does not show that they are, because too much very poor, therefore they do not wear slipper. They can arrange. They are picking up racks in which also in the garbage also they can find some broken slippers which they can mend and wear. But it is a kind of tradition for these poor people to show their poverty, that we are really very poor and therefore they do not like to put any shoes or any slipper in their feet. So this way was the answer to the author. Now these boys are continuously picking up racks and they were barefoot, they were not having anything in their foot. Only they were carrying a poly bag in which they pick up the racks and collect it. Now, after some time, when we see, we will find that these people, those who are living in Simapuri, they are really very poor. They do not have any standard. Actually, what happened? Many years ago, they were living in Dhaka, as I told earlier. Now they came to Delhi and settled. When they came to settle themselves, at that time, Simapuri, a brief introduction is given about Simapuri by the author in the lesson. And what was that? Before many years, this place, Simapuri, which is at the outskirts of Delhi, there these people came. At that time, when they came from Dhaka, this place was not a common place. It was a kind of jungle, a forest. So when they came, wild animals were there and so many trees were there. So these people came and settled themselves there. They do not have any registration, no proof of their land. Just simply they are living there. They do not have any proof of their own house. They do not have any registration of the land. They are simply settled there and they are spending their lifetime there. And now around 10,000 or more people are there. In this way, they have just grown themselves. So, the author is telling us about the brief introduction about Simapuri, that there, so many years before, these people came, they settled themselves there, and now they are living there. Even government cannot push them away from there. So, it is a slum area where these people or poor people are living. They do not have any job, they do not do any work. Rather, everyone, around 10,000 people, all are doing only one job. And what was that? To pick up the rats. And now if I go ahead from that, after the brief introduction of Simapuri, if I go ahead about Sahib was going and picking up the rat. As I said, what was the title of the lesson? Lost Spring. About the childhood it is said. In what way children are losing their childhood. And the first part is what? Sometimes I find a rupees in a garbage. This is the main part of the lesson. About this what is said. Sahib the boy, he is saying, again he is meeting and talking with the author. And what he is saying? That sometime when we go to pick, the author put a question. Why do you pick those wrecks? Why don't you do other jobs? There are so many different types of jobs. You can do different types of jobs. But why you do? Then Sahib answered, we do not want to be a kind of labor. We always want to live as a owner. Because if we pick the wrecks, nobody will tell us anything. It is my wish. When I go and when I come, we are not overpowered by someone. We do not want to work under someone's pressure. Therefore, we do not go for any other kind of job. Rather, we do our own job. Here we are not pressurized by anyone. In this way, when Sahib answered, the author was really surprised that still this man understands the worth of himself. So, now Sahib is also adding. What is he saying? That, ma'am, what happens generally when we go to pick up the racks? We just sell out this rack. And sometimes when we picking up the rack, sometimes we get money in that. Sometimes we get 1 rupee, sometimes we get 5 rupees, sometimes we get coin, sometimes we get 10 rupees note also in the garbage. And with the intention to get more, we just pick up the racks. That because of this, because they have curiosity, they have eagerness. Because once they are getting 1 rupee or 5 rupee in a garbage, so they pick or they just scatter this garbage here and there and try to look for more money. So Sahib is saying that sometimes we get money there also. Sometimes 1 rupee, sometimes 10 rupees. And that motivates us to collect more garbage and spread more garbage and search for more money there. And we are very happy to get those money. After some time in this way, the life was continuously going on. Neither author nor government nor anyone else, nobody helped these poor people. They were continuously doing his job. Now, when author was writing about these poor people, garbage pickers, rack pickers, suddenly she remembers a story. A story about a poor priest, a pujari in a temple. She is saying that so long, around 30 years back or ago, when once she went isolated place, there only one temple was there, and there was a priest, and he had a child, and the priest was all day in the temple, and his son, he was very poor. He was not able to go to school even. He was also just like this rack picker. He was not having any shoes or slipper to put on his feet, to put it on and to just cover its feet. So the condition of the son of the priest was compared with this rack picker. The both were same. Before 30 years she is talking about. Now she is saying after many years, after 30 years means last year or this year, she again went to the same temple. And what did she find? She found that one more priest is replacing that other priest, because that was 30 years before. After that, that priest must have died or went away somewhere. But this time when she went the same place, she found that there was another priest in the same temple, and he also had a child. And at the backyard of the same temple, the author was able to see that a boy, the child of priest, was in his uniform. He was wearing school dress and shoes also. So this change was seen by the author in the life of who? The priest life. The priest earlier how they were living, and the priest now how they are living. The standard of their life is changed. Another thing, another incident the author is telling us about this boy now. Again she is coming to the same place, Simapuri, Delhi. Now she is also sharing with us about Sahib's interest. So she is also writing about Sahib that Sahib the poor boy, once I noticed him, and what she noticed, that this boy Sahib, he was wearing white dress, white shirt, white shorts and white shoes. To see that boy in white shoes, she was really surprised. Okay, dress doesn't matter, but shoes, that was really surprising. Then the author went near to the boy and she asked, today you are looking ready, you are in white dress, you are in shoes, the special thing shoes. the boy said, "This dress I am given." Actually, that was second-hand dress. Must be some rich people have donated or gifted it to the boy Sahib. So he explained, "Somebody gave me this dress along with the shoes, therefore I am wearing it." And that time where he was standing, these both, author and the boy Sahib, both were standing outside a lawn. And what was the lawn? Tennis lawn. And the dress of Sahib was also as like a tennis player. And what was he doing? He was just enjoying that two boys are playing tennis inside that lawn, and he was waiting outside. He was enjoying them. It means this thing shows that Sahib was interested to play tennis also. But because of some problem, he was not able to play, he cannot go there. But he is saying to the author that whenever these boys will complete their game, after that I will go inside and I will play with that tennis racket. And the person who is taking care of that lawn, he is also allowing me to hold that racket. He is not denying me. So that is really very happy hours for me. So sometime I go there. So this thing shows about Sahib that he wanted to do something. He wanted to grow. His interest was in study. Therefore he asked the author that when are you going to open a school. His interest was in school. Therefore he asked the author about our school. His interest was in game. Therefore he was going and watching those players. And after that also he was going inside the tennis lawn and playing with that racket alone. So this thing shows the eagerness to learn something and the curiosity to know about something, and he was interested to learn also. So these so many things were there. After many years, the change in the Sahib's life again noticed by the author. And this time the change which she noticed, that was just opposite of Sahib's thinking. Once if you remember, I told you, once Sahib told to the author that he does not want to work under anyone. He wants to be his own owner. You remember? I told you earlier that I do not want to work under pressure or under anyone. Therefore, we just pick up the rest. We do not go for any other kind of labor. But this time when this author saw to whom? Sahib. And what she noticed, that Sahib was carrying a steel canister. And in which, what was that? Tea. In one hand he was having or holding the steel canister filled with tea, and in other hand he was having some disposal glasses. And he was failing because now he was working on a tea stall. At a tea stall he was working. So that was really surprising for the author. And she went to the author went to Sahib, but she did not tell him anything. She was just standing and watching that what he was doing. And now again she started thinking, and she wrote in her book that the weight of that steel tea container was more than that the bag of rats. Generally, if we just see, we will find the weight of that bag which Sahib was carrying on his shoulder, picking up a rag, was more. But still the author is saying that now the weight of that steel container or canister is more than that. And why is he saying so? Because she knows what was Sahib thinking. He never wanted to work under anyone. But now he is doing. He has lost all his freedom. He is totally now under pressure. he had to obey other. If the person at the store will order him go and give tea there, then he has to go. But earlier, when he was picking up the rag, that time he did not have to go anywhere. He did not have to obey anyone. He was owner of his own. That was really honesty for him. That was really a position for him. So seeing those all things, the author is saying that this boy, Sahib, is carrying the container which is having much more weight than the rag, holy rag. So this whole thing, the changes, at least the author was very happy to see him that now he is doing some standard work. There was some change in the life of Sahib. Now he was not a rag picker, but still something which was real wish of Sahib that did not come true. Still he was under pressure of someone. He was not his own according to his name. The meaning of his name was what? That he was a kind of king of the universe. And that only he wanted to live life. He doesn't want to work under anyone else, but now he is working. Somewhere it was giving happiness to the author and somewhere it was giving sadness too. So this story is all about Sahib. And in this story we have seen how a person even is having so many problems, but he had to continue in his life. Whatever God has given him or her as a destiny, he has to face it. So many things happened in his life. Once he was very happy. After that he came to that place and he became a rag picker. From rag picker he became a labor under pressure worker. So these so many changes we have seen. I hope by listening to the summary of the lesson, you will get a clear picture of the lesson. You will get an idea of the lesson. That whatever things happened, and related to the lesson, whatever question comes there in the NCERT, you will be able to answer those questions. With these words, I would like to hope for the best for your examination, for your preparation, for your question answers, and for the clearance of the lesson. Thank you very much. God bless you.